What is going on, everybody? It's your boy John, and welcome back to Gearbox. So today we are in the wonderful 2019 Ford F-150. I know this truck has been neglected on this channel for the past couple months with the Supra, but want to try to start getting some more content out with this beautiful, beautiful truck. So here we are today. Now, with that being said, I recently came to a pretty significant conclusion, and that is what I want to discuss today. But before we get into that, I want to kind of explain, I guess, my use for this truck and where this truck fits in my lineup of vehicles between the 2022 Supra and the 2024 430i that my wife drives. To get right to the point, really, this F-150 is the workhorse. And by that I mean, I daily drive this truck just as much as I do the Supra when it comes to commuting to work and all of that. But when we start taking road trips and we start doing some more, I guess, involved travel, let's call it, obviously having the 6'7" bed Super Crew Cab F-150 is unbelievably beneficial. Now, one thing that I've recently come to the conclusion of is that I'm kind of screwed when it comes to highway driving in the event of one of these big honking tires blows out. So I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, but first let me kind of get my bearings, get the shot set up, and we'll get right into it. So basically what we're talking about here, guys, is, you know, with this truck being used primarily from a road trip standpoint, and yes, there's other applications, but when we're taking road trips with this truck in the, you know, Method MR305 wheels, but more importantly, the Toyo AT3 Open Country 35-inch tires, I've quickly come to the conclusion that I need to get a better plan in place if one of these tires is to blow out. And the reason being is, if you take a look under here, this is probably going to be an awful shot, but you'll at least get the gist. That spare tire is not a 35. If I had to guess, so the original tires that came on this truck are a 27-inch tire. If I had to guess, it's a 27, but a much more narrow 27 than the stock, you know, actual tires that came on the truck. Now, for those who might be wondering, well, John, couldn't you just throw the spare on and limp it over to a tire shop or limp it over to something until you kind of figure out, you know, when you can get a new 35? That's a good question, but the answer is really no. Obviously, when you're talking about a, I guess, 8-inch difference in tire, that's going to put a lot of stress on axles, suspension, and other components of the truck, even down to the computers and the wheels and tires. That's just not going to allow it to work. So now I'm faced with an interesting dilemma. Number one is I need to find a 35-inch tire, but also make sure that that tire is the right specs in order to fit on the spare rim. My initial idea was, all right, we'll roll the dice, we'll, you know, take these tires as long as they can go, and then when it's time to get new tires, I'll put these or one of these tires on the spare. But I don't know if the wheel dimensions will allow for this spec of tire to fit on it. So that's number one. Number two is now talking about a tow package F-150 versus a non-tow package F-150. So as you guys may or may not recall, we put a trailer hitch receiver on this truck. It did not come with one. It had a shitty little bumper tow thing on there, and that's not gonna cut it. So we went ahead and put on the trailer hitch receiver, which is fine. In doing that, that required us to drop the spare tire. Now, once that install was done and I put the spare tire back on, I quickly realized that my idea of putting a 35-inch tire in that well, you know, this OEM well for a spare tire, was probably not going to work because it's now too wide and it would not fit within the trailer hitch receiver. Hopefully this is making sense. I don't really have a good way to show you guys that, but that's the dilemma. I currently have two options on how I can handle this, and I'm also looking for your input as well for maybe a third or a fourth option. Option one is assuming that we can get a 35-inch tire, whether that is a old, you know, AT3, once we run through these and need new tires, put that on the spare and, you know, hoist it back up close to where it can be. It will be sitting on the tow hitch receiver, so the tire will be hanging down a little bit further. That's option one. Option two is getting another Method MR305 with an AT3 open country Toyo tire in the same specs that we have here. But then the question is, well, where do we put it, right? I've thought about just throwing it in the bed of the truck. That's definitely an option, but I also don't want to do that and just have it sit there, right? Like, it's gonna take up space in the bed. Now, I've also thought through the idea, well, you know, if we're just taking this truck here and there, you know, locally, I can either keep the tire in there and move it around if need be, or I can just throw it in the bed of the truck when we go on road trips. But let's be honest, I'll probably forget to do that shit, and then it's a worthless investment anyway. But it's really, really difficult. I can't stand it up in the bed. It's too tall. This tonneau cover is a Gator tri-fold, but it only folds twice. This piece does not go up against the glass, so that also makes it difficult. So anyway, I'm sitting here just trying to decide what the best option is for me. Now, the odds of a tire blowout are probably not slim to none, but you know, it's not super duper likely. However, I feel like the second you say, oh, I'll never have that happen to me, that can't happen to me, that's when you blow out a tire, and that's when you're shit out of luck. And with the highway driving that I do, whether it's from here to Atlanta, whether it's from here to Cincinnati, here to Destin, Florida, you name it, I do a lot of driving in this truck, and I kind of need an option outside of just calling a tow truck and hoping for the best. That's where I'm at. So here is where I ask the question. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. I have thought about the idea. First off, you could technically get a roof rack and throw a tire up there. That I don't want to do that. That'll make this truck a lot more unusable when it comes to low clearance parking stuff and whatnot. I've also thought about getting some sort of almost like a Jeep thing right here, and I know they make them, and having a spare tire right here, almost in the spirit of like a pre-runner Baja truck. Don't think I want to do that, because then it just makes the tailgate and the bed of the truck less accessible. I mean, yeah, you can swing it open and access it fine, but it's not as quick and easy. Anyway, I have a lot of different ideas and different opinions on how we can do this and make it work. But ultimately, I need your buy-in on what I should do, because I really, really don't know. I would like to not compromise, you know, comfortability and usability as much as possible. But I also understand that in some cases, you might have to make that sacrifice in order to have the peace of mind when doing road trips, when doing your daily driving or whatever, in order to have that spare under there and I guess get the best of both worlds, so to speak. So anyway, if y'all have any ideas, comments, you know, maybe some stuff that I haven't even thought about yet, please, please, please drop them in the comment section down below. I'm really leaning on y'all to help make, you know, this decision for me. If you like the video and maybe you're having the same issues, please give this video a big fat thumbs up. As always, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified every single time we upload a video here on Gearbox as a sick-ass 5.0 Mustang just drives by. And without further ado, that is going to do it. And until next time, peace.